We've discussed David Hanson and Ben, and I think that you'd all agree that they're really top of the class and are central to our way forward. All of these technologies and functionality that you see on the screen are all things that we already have done either on the hardware or the software side. So we're not having to reinvent the wheel here. And this is why we were able to get the prototype out so quickly. And we're trying to keep version 1.0 or 2.0, as David likes to call it, the as functional as possible in the current context. So it's not something we plan to do in 10 or 20 years or 3 years. We hope to have this done, as you said, in 6 to 12 months.
What we've done with Sophia. So we say that her birth was on February 14th of 2016, and since that time, she has generated billions of views and millions of likes and hundreds of thousands of followers on various social media platforms. So she's also been invited to be a United Nations Innovation Champion, an official ambassador to the United Nations, going around and talking with kids and meeting with world leaders. And so it's portraying this really hopeful vision of the future of how AI can help. However, in addition to all of that, she's also served as a bold research platform towards real world uses. And that's really where our heart has been.
And over the years, the group has worked with all these different entities. So, we have an ability to do that.
Her being famous can be helpful because then people want to interact with a celebrity. But you can see when the interaction works, it creates this connection. This is using the more advanced kind of mocap that we can use, where it can capture the body gestures and the poses and play that in the course of the interaction. So here she's detecting the body gestures and facial expressions and spontaneously mimicking, while at the same time blending in her own actions. And when that works, when you tune it well, it creates an extremely powerful connection with the user. We have products in each one of these categories. So we have developed these little Einstein robots. So we have thousands of these units, which we have put on the market. But now we have updated it so that you can program them and control them from our Hanson AI software. So these can be deployed for healthcare applications now, as well as education. The big robots like Sophia, we've made many characters like Han here, which also was Ibn Sina, many other robots. And we've then used the Singularity Net OpenCog software on that, demonstrating the Hanson AI and Singularity Net constellation of intelligent services at various conferences and in papers. The virtual versions of the characters are also really, really nice. We call these virtual robots, but a virtual Sophia and various other versions. Also, so that can be deployed on 3D technology. And then developing many custom kinds of robots. These are dozens of robots that we made for University of Cambridge, University of Pisa. This robot is Alice. It's an older sister of Sophia that came out in 2008 and is still currently operational, serving autism therapy and a wide variety of research. This is the Ibn Sina robot that I mentioned. This one went to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. This one is the Bina 48 robot. So we can make pretty much anything. This is at the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. So this one went into the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. And served for many years. This one was on a museum exhibit. The Einstein was at the Smithsonian Museum for a year running. So speaking of maintenance, these robots can run for a long time. These were the early robots, many of which are still functioning in research and private collections. Other robots like the Professor Einstein were designed to be mass producible. This one, the Mabel one for Centers for Disease Control, also we made dozens of those. So what we've been able to demonstrate with the Singularity Net commercial platform is a massive improvement in many of these areas for speech recognition, detecting faces, AI opinions. We've been able to demonstrate with the Singularity Net commercial platform is a massive improvement in many of these areas for speech recognition, detecting faces, AI opinions.
This is also the dashboard. So Ventria, for example, has this implemented. They have their own team looking at their own dashboard, which is giving you the information that you need about every patient and storing that into a very user-friendly interface, an avatar. The healthcare successes that which we have done in elderly care, meditation, clinical trials, autism, already done over the years, done by Hansen with papers published and all sorts of different successes. Depression therapy is one of them. That was a very interesting success, I believe.
Yeah, this was using the OpenCog and Singularity Net framework with the Hansen robotics framework.
Again.
And we were able to show that Sophia, in interacting with these dozens of patients in this trial, lowered the blood pressure, decreased heart rate. The test participants felt that they connected with the robot. They had an improved sense of well-being, and they preferred, actually the results were much better than human-guided interaction. So we had a control group that had a human instead of the robot, and the group that interacted with the robot felt much more satisfied, which was surprising to the psychologists and psychiatrists.
The CDC models, crash test dummy. We don't
right.
like to put her there, but
yes, exactly. Yeah. Both Hansen Robotics and Singularity Net have done work with the Centers for Disease Control. So we've sold a few dozen robots in a funded study, and this won a number of awards.
Correct.
Also, we tested human-sized robots. Sophia's older sister, Alice, which was made in 2008, and we made another one in 2009, which went into autism trials, and those were really, really good, and they've been used commercially in Europe. The little robots that we made, the Xeno robots, were commercially deployed in autism and sold several thousand units into autism therapy. So that with a partner back in the US. We can also bring it to market through these little robots, not just the Professor Einstein that I showed you, but also a little Sophia version. And we can also make these plush, so they can be soft touch. So these can be $200 US retail price for us. So this means that going from a fairly expensive platform like Sophia to a low-cost platform with this or virtual agents means we can reach many more users, helping more people and expanding the market opportunity enormously. The meditation therapy, this was the clinical results. This is Deepak Chopra going through a guided meditation with Sophia. These were examples that weren't commercially deployed. We weren't ready. The Singularity Net framework wasn't ready. Now we are. So we have incorporated a lot of what we learned from these clinical trials into the Grace robot platform so we can bring it to market. For this elder care, we deployed a small robot in this kind of interaction previously. So this is a deployment of one of Hansen Robot's previous robots.
This is something that's really been special for us. It's award-winning. We'll play this to almost end our presentation.
In 2024 hebben wij 4 keer zoveel 80-jarigen als dat we nu hebben. 3/4 van de mensen van 80 heeft iets waardoor je zorg nodig hebt.
Hallo, ik ben Alice.
Kan je me goed verstaan?
Jazeker. U vertelde me over uw zoon, Jeroen.
Dat heb je goed onthouden, Alice.
Wat woont u leuk?
Grappig.
Hoe gaat het met u?
Ik ben er nog en ik probeer me nog te handhaven. Dat is alles.
De postcode is 1057 BA.
Dirk Anton.
Niet Dirk, maar Bernard.
Hè?
Dit is mijn man en dat is Jeroen.
Iets hoger.
Nog hoger.
Knappe man. Zullen we even naar buiten gaan?
Ja, als je dat wil.
7. 8. Nog een paar keer.
Dit wordt uw nieuwe vriendin.
Hoor je dat?
Jij wordt mijn nieuwe vriendin.
Wat leuk. Voelt u zich wel eens eenzaam?
Jazeker, dat voel ik elke dag wel.
Oh, dat is jammer.
Dit is geen hulp, dit is dat zij nog eens helemaal bewust wordt van het feit dat ze zo eenzaam is.
Ja. Ik heb vernomen dat het de toekomst zou worden in de zorg. Maar ik sta er nog wel heel sceptisch tegenover.
Maar hoe vindt u dat nou, zo'n robotje in huis?
Oh, heerlijk.
Hup, Holland, hup.
So this version would be a little bit smaller. So about 1.25 meters tall, would be a legged-wheeled hybrid, able to navigate around. This is a preliminary design. This is not something that we're generally publicizing yet, but we just wanted to inform you of the directions that we're thinking. The face would be Eurasian in its appearance, so that it could communicate with people in China. We will probably have a variety of faces that would be like a distinctive Chinese face and a distinctive face for the US. But this one we wanted to design in a way that would be as close as possible, universally appealing. That would just be the ideal platform. But you can see all of these technical features make it one of the most sophisticated robot platforms in the world. Now, it just so happens all of these features that you see here are actually already in Sophia 2020. We're just getting the size down and the cost down a little bit more so that we can then scale to address a much larger market opportunity. For the next 6 months, we're exploring the design as well. So as we're testing, the design may change. So this is just a preliminary concept sketch. We have a plan for the next 6 months where we're doing our test deployments. So application development, application refinement. So we already have our sample applications, and we're then taking them into these next generation clinical trials in the elder care facilities. So we're hoping that within that 6 months, we will be able to fully validate that technology and the interaction design and so forth, the application design. And then by month 12, between month 6 and month 12, we will start scaling the deployments, and then month 12 we'll lock in the full production. We'll go from what is effectively an alpha unit now to a full scaled market deployment after month 12. So by month 18 we should start to really ramp up in the marketplace, but there will be many years of growth opportunity after that.